How will you assess your wide receivers now that you're in year two and having the spring and now training camp and all that? How will you assess how they're picking things up?
I talked a lot about that. Just such a benefit where we are now from where we were last year, just to go through a spring and a summer and have a quarterback identified that knows what we're doing and can really coach the guys up through everything we do in the off season. So we're really far ahead of where we were last year. Still got a long way to go. We're still youthful in this offense and a little inexperienced in every nuance to how we got to play the game. But we got a good group of guys and we'll be ready to play here in a couple weeks.
You got quality guys that return him, but you add Jameer and also Makai from the transfer portal. How do you feel like they've picked this up? I mean, obviously Jameer's been in this offense, right, but Makai's been one of the more impressive guys just about every day.
Yeah,
how do you feel like they've picked things up?
It's been good. Obviously, Jameer coming from Washington State and being in the system and being with Coach Nickel and going through what we do and how we practice and how we play the position he plays. He's well adept to it, and he's good at coaching the other guys behind him. So he's a good addition for us. Makai bringing him in from Cal was good. He's done a good job. And again, I don't like to talk a lot about a guy until he does something. So until he proves he's worthy, I'm gonna stay quiet about him. But he is a good addition. He's a smart, tough guy. Knows how to play the game, and he can get open and catch the ball and make plays, and that's what we're looking for at that Z position, without a doubt.
What have you seen from Malik, and how has he grown from last year to now?
He has, and again, he's a guy that's benefited a lot from being in the system, from being coached, from repetition, from seeing things over and over, from getting the signals. He's a guy that's really got an opportunity to have a heck of a year, and he's a talented young man. He's big, strong, physical, runs well, great hands, catches the ball, and he's well ahead of where he was last year. So looking forward to him and seeing what he can do this year. Really am.
How much mentally tougher is he now this year compared to last, you think, based on what you've seen in your conversations with him?
It's because of spring ball and because of the summer and because of this preseason. I mean, we practice pretty hard and we get after it, and we're physical on defense, and everyone, our whole team. Now, our mentality is pretty tough. And you know, people talk a lot about this air raid and how we run around and catch all the time. But if you're not tough at receiver in this offense, really in any offense, you'll be exposed. So we work on our toughness every day, and toughness is something I don't worry about with Malik. It'll be all right.
It looks like you got a lot of familiar names in this receiving group back. Even though they were young, they got a lot of reps last year. But a guy like Quentin Torbor been pretty solid so far in camp. What has he done to kind of work himself into the rotation?
He's caught the ball. You want the truth? Last year he struggled catching the ball a little bit, and anytime you drop the ball in this offense, you'll be identified by 10 different people that you're struggling catching the ball. So he's caught the ball better. But he's a talented guy, and it's funny. We watched his high school highlight, and it's pretty good. He's a talented player, but he's got quick feet and good hands. He's gotten better hands. He's done well. Caleb Ducking's another guy that hadn't played, and he's going to get an opportunity to play. And again, until he does anything, I'm not going to talk much about him, but my expectation for Caleb is pretty good this year.
Do you have an update on Tulu?
No. Nope. When he's back, he's back. But what he's done well. And he's another kid that going through spring, going through summer, special teams. He plays on about every special team. I'm trying to get him off a couple. But he's a talented young man, and now we expect him back here soon, ready to roll. And we really expect him to have a good year, really do.
This offense trended in the right direction as last year wrapped up. And do you kind of think that's something that you guys as a unit can build off, that success at the end of the year and what y'all have been able to do?
The biggest thing we have going for us is Coach Leach's track record as a head football coach. And his first year usually has struggled, and his second or third year has really gotten better as he's gotten the pieces together and practiced for a full year and full spring practices, just gotten better at learning how to play the game. So we have confidence in that we will be a better unit than we were last year. QBs and receiver are a little bit more on the same page, and we are. We're looking forward to getting on the field and playing somebody else.
How much do you think that kind of helps the coaches, too, having a full year, working together with each other?
Absolutely. I mean, people talk about how hard it was last year. I'm like, it was hard. It was really hard. But it was hard for anyone that was a new staff that had no spring. I mean, you get out there and, golly, going into the first couple games, we were just hoping guys kind of knew where to line up and how to play. So, yeah, as a staff, to be around our players, with our strength coaches, everything we do in the summer and spring, to be able to go through that repetition and what our expectations are for this year, it's a lot of confidence in everybody.
Can you speak to just how well-rounded this group is? Y'all seem to have a little bit of everything at receiver this year.
Time will tell. I think we have a potentially a good group, but we still got a lot of work to do. And I keep thinking about our last unit at Washington State. Now, we had 8 or 9 really good players. We had 7 players catch over 500 yards receiving. And when we got here last year, we had not had one player have over 500 yards receiving in 5 years. So putting the pieces together and the depth and the numbers we need at that position will take a while, but we'll get there. We'll have a crew we put on the field. We'll play 8 receivers in every game, and we expect to have 8 that are pretty good players.
You mentioned Caleb ducking. Was it the same thing with Quentin Torbo where he just improved catching, or what did Caleb improve to get better?
Well, he redshirted last year, so we kind of held him out early and going through. But he was always a pretty talented guy. He just had to learn how to play and learn how to get tougher and learn what it's like playing the SEC and practice against our guys. And he's kind of a big, tall guy, so them guys get underneath him a little bit. But he's a talented young man, and if we can get it all out of him, he's going to have a good year.
Last year, I know Rufus was dealing with some injuries and things like that. How close was he to getting on the field last season? Because I know he's had a really good camp so far. Is that just a product of being, in the system for a year? Or was he close at all to getting?
That falls under a Coach Nickel question.
Okay.
Because he plays for Coach Nickel, but Rufus is a talented player. And I was right at the end. We were trying to figure out exactly how we were going to play him last year, and I had an opportunity to go see him and go into school and see him, and he's a guy I've always liked. So I'm looking forward to watching him play, and he's got a pretty impressive skill set, and I'm looking forward to watching him kind of go play this year.